I hadn't stepped foot inside Grandmother Loren's house since the funeral. Not because I couldn't bear it, but because I couldn't stomach what it had become, once filled with the scent of lemon polish and her soft humming from the parlor. Now it stood like a gutted shell with new ghosts. Ghosts with names I used to love. I pushed open the front door without knocking like I always used to. Except this time, no one called my name from the sitting room, no warm embrace. No plate of almond cookies waiting by the window. Just Miles, standing like some conquering prince in front of the fireplace, spinning a diamond ring around his finger. "David," he said with mock surprise, that smirk crawling across his face like a stain. "Didn't think you had the guts to show?" I didn't respond right away. I just took in the scene, the way he stood directly under Grandmother's portrait, like he belonged there, like he hadn't been absent for years while I ran errands, fixed leaky pipes, and sat beside her bed when she coughed through the night, and next to him, on the mantel, was the small lacquered box she used to keep locked. I knew what was inside, the rings, her wedding set, promised to me since I was a teenager. Not because I was better, but because I was there, because I cared. "You're so pathetic," he said with a laugh, flicking the lid open and pulling the rings into view like a magician with a rabbit. "Really? You think being the golden grandson gets you anything? It doesn't, sentiment doesn't sign checks? Loyalty doesn't buy beachfront property?" I looked at him, the blood in my ears humming. "And betrayal dies you what, exactly? A new wardrobe and a hollow marriage?" He didn't flinch. He was too far gone for shame. "Rachel and I are getting married," he said, tossing one of the rings in the air and catching it with a smug flick of the wrist. "And she helped me get everything. The house, the money, the jewelry. You're left with nothing." I took a slow breath, measured, intentional. There was no heat in my chest anymore. No ache, just focus. I walked further into the room, letting the door swing shut behind me. The lock clicked like punctuation. Miles looked confused for a moment, like he expected me to yell, to break. But I didn't give him that satisfaction. "Actually," I said, sliding my hands into my coat pockets, "there's something you both should." "No," his eyes narrowed. "What are you talking about?" I smiled calmly, quietly, the way Grandmother used to when she knew something you didn't. "You think you've won?" I said, keeping my voice level. "You think getting Rachel to flip on me, spinning lies in court, slithering your way through family dinners with that smug little grin, made you king of the ashes you left behind? But you didn't win, Miles. You played yourself." "You and Rachel." "Both," he scoffed. "You're delusional. You lost everything. The judge saw through your little pity act. You're broke, alone, and out of your mind if you think anyone believes your version." I moved to the old armchair near the fireplace, the one Grandmother used to read in, and sat down without asking. His jaw twitched. That chair still held? Weight still whispered of legacy. And I knew he felt it, even if he couldn't name it. "You ever wonder why Grandmother never changed her will in the last few years?" I asked. He looked uneasy, for the first time. "Because she was too old to bother?" "Wrong," I said. "Because she knew what was coming. She saw through you, through Rachel. She didn't want a war while she was alive, so she played the part. Let you think you were winning. And the best part? You believed it." He crossed his arms. "You don't have proof?" That made me laugh. Just a little. "That's the thing about people like you, Miles. You think truth is something you can auction off, twist, repackage. But truth, it's patient. It waits. It gathers receipts." His face shifted then, not fear exactly, but doubt. The kind that starts in the stomach and works its way up, like rot. "I don't need to prove anything to you tonight," I said, rising from the chair. "I just needed to see your face when you realized the story wasn't over. That what you stole was the bait, and the real legacy, the one you thought you buried with your lies, it's about to bury you instead." I walked toward the door, each step slow, deliberate, my hand on the knob. I turned back once more. "Tell Rachel I hope the ring fits. It won't mean much where you're both headed, but it's the only thing. You'll be able to say you truly held, if only for a little while." Miles stood frozen, still clutching the diamonds like they meant something. Like they could protect him from what was coming. I stepped into the dusk, the cool air slicing clean across my skin. Somewhere behind me, the fire crackled like laughter, but it wasn't Miles laughing anymore. It was me. My character. They all said the same thing in hushed corners. It's just sad. David never really lived up to his potential. But I had. Just not in ways they could see. I lived it in the quiet care I gave Lorraine during her final years. In the nights I stayed up, learning probate law just to understand her will. In the way I packed up her belongings after she died, each scarf, each teacup, each photo handled like a relic. I lived it in the loyalty I gave to a marriage that didn't deserve it. In the blind trust one extends to a brother who sharpens his knives behind your back, but no one asked about that. Because they already believed the story Miles and Rachel fed them, that I was broken, that I was bitter, that I was, in every way that mattered, pathetic. They didn't know what I knew now. They didn't know about the offshore accounts, the forged documents. They didn't know Rachel had falsified invoices to siphon funds from Loren's estate, or that Miles had filed property transfers in my name while I was out of the country. They didn't know, but Lorraine did. And now ... so did I. She saw through them long before I ever did. She hadn't just suspected, she had documented everything. And when she pressed the velvet pouch into my hand, she wasn't giving me revenge. She was giving me clarity. So I stayed silent. Let them write their story. Let them celebrate in the house they stole and toast with wine bought from funds they laundered through legal trickery. I let them live in their version of the truth. Because I knew the day was coming when the real one would arrive. Uninvited, undeniable, and impossible to escape. The invitation came in a white envelope with a gold seal, like something out of a wedding catalog or an awards gala. Inside, a note, written in Rachel's elegant cursive. We'd love to have you at our celebration dinner. An intimate gathering before the big day. Family only. 7 p.m. formal attire. Beneath her perfect penmanship, a smiley face. As if that erased the venom behind it, I stared at it for a while, letting the irony soak in. My brother and my ex-wife were throwing a party for their engagement. And they wanted me, the man they gutted, to sit at the table like it was all a warm reunion. I went. Not because I had any desire to break bread with the two of them, but because I needed them to see something. Not just me, the version of me that had been forged in silence, steadied in betrayal, and sharpened by the truth Lorraine left behind. I wasn't going for revenge. I was going for clarity. And I wanted an audience. The dinner was held at the Cressmore estate, my grandmother's summer home, the one Miles had swindled through technicality.